Hey all, this is Daniel R. Levi from ReviewStash.com, home of the super duper vanilla survival server, and we are happily now running on the latest version of Minecraft, bucket free of course, so if you're interested in joining us, hop into our forums and ask around. Today I thought, in light of the upcoming Black Friday holiday and the December holidays, that I'd put together a really cool budget build that will allow you to play Planetside 2 and Battlefield 4 on all high without much issue. This rig is only $300, not counting a version of Windows or whatever operating system you'd like to run. So let's go ahead and check out the parts that go into this build. I'm just on the Review Stash hardware forums right now where I posted up the specs. Here we go. This is the Planetside 2 and Battlefield 4 ready rig. Some of these rebates do expire within the next week, but even with a few of the rebates missing, it's still a heck of a deal on a lot of these parts. So first off, we've got the Rosewell FBM02 Micro ATX case. This case really isn't anything to write home about. It's not particularly spectacular. It is $21.99 today, down from $49.99, with free shipping on Amazon. If you are in California, New York, and the few other states that have Amazon warehouses, you will have to pay tax. But sales tax, as you can imagine, on $21.99 isn't particularly high. So here's the case. Now, to note, of course, if you have Prime, you can get 2-day shipping on this. Otherwise, you'll need to add some filler items to get the regular free shipping. If you're not too happy with that, I also found the same case with free shipping no matter what, going for $21.99 on eBay. And I believe that was actually through Newegg's online eBay store. So that's an option as well if you don't have anything else you want to purchase off of Amazon. The case isn't really, interesting. It does come with two fans, an 80mm fan in the rear and a 120mm fan in the front, so you get enough airflow for this build. It is pretty small compared to most Micro ATX cases. It's smaller than the Cooler Master Elite 341. It's smaller than my Silverstone TJ08E case. So really compact. As you can see, only one 5¼ bay, but for this rig, doesn't really matter. Nice thing is the steel on this case is rolled and isn't overly thin, so quality isn't too much of an issue. Again, of course, with this rig, you just want something that holds your parts. Let's take a look at the next component. It is the MSI H81 motherboard that supports Haswell processors. Again, not an interesting board, but it has a $15 off coupon today, as well as a $10 rebate, so heck of a deal on that. Some of the reviews are kind of unhappy, but those were dead on arrival issues. The board overall seems to be spec'd out pretty decently, considering the processor that's going to go on here. So, not a bad deal. And it doesn't say here, but this is a regular free shipping item on Newegg, so that's nice. Let's see what we have next. Alright, this is the G3220 Intel Pentium processor. A lot of people will probably criticize my choice. Some people believe that the 760K AMD FM2 socket processor is a better decision for about $25 more. But the one thing to keep in mind is most games, in fact, just about all games, besides Battlefield 4, which is utilizing the latest version of the Frostbite engine, which has a lot of performance enhancements, will not ever use more than 2 threads. This is important because it's inherently difficult to multi-thread video game components, especially a lot of the simulation that has to occur in a video game. And it's very time-consuming, very expensive to do, and not really worthwhile considering, even the latest next-gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One, still only have quad-core processors. So Planetside 2, in particular, really only utilizes a single thread for the bulk of its work, so you're not going to get dinged by not having a quad-core. Even in Battlefield 4, the performance from a dual-core to a quad-core is not significant, and tricky things like hyper-threading or the pseudo multi-core architecture that AMD uses on some of its processors really don't make too much of a difference anyway. So for $65, you're getting a heck of a processor. This is a Haswell processor, so it has the latest AVX instruction set. So once programs start to use that more, a lot of encoding software, you'll get a big boost there on the AVX2. Let's take a look at the CPU benchmark on this for single-threaded performance, which is what really matters for gaming. So here you go with the G3220 at 1730 on the CPU benchmark scores at stock 3 GHz. Not bad at all when you consider how large this list is. Let's take a look at the 760K and see how that fares. 760K quad-core at 1423. So for single-threaded performance, which will be what you need for most games, the Intel processor is much better. The one thing to keep in mind is the 760K can be overclocked very easily. You do need to shell out money to get a decent FM2 motherboard, and you need to consider that FM2 is currently being phased out, so there's not much life left on that socket. So you're going to dump, $100 into a pretty decent mid-range motherboard for overclocking. Then you're going to have to find a heatsink compatible with the particular socket, and even if you get something like a Hyper 212 Plus, that's going to cost you $20. So versus going with the simple Intel way where you don't have to fuss or fiddle with overclocking. But if you're a true enthusiast and you really want to make it work, for the extra money, if you can get the 760K to about 4.5 gigahertz, then it's a pretty decent little processor. But just to put into perspective, an FM2 top-of-the-line processor like the A10 running at 8 gigahertz still isn't equivalent to the 4770K at 3.5 gigahertz. So just food for thought. Now, the 4770K, which is kind of the cream of the crop for consumers right now, has 2200. So 2200 down to 1700, not an enormous jump considering how much of a price difference you have there. It's a really great processor, a lot of power for your money. Let's take a look at 2500K, which is a slightly older Sandy Bridge Intel part that runs Planetside 2 without any difficulty. That's at 1800. So from 1700 to 1800, and a huge price drop, you're getting a lot of power for your money. Let's take a look at the next component here on the list. What do we got? Oh, this is the best part of this entire build. You can get today, this is on Slick Deals, I definitely recommend setting up some deal alerts, a 7870 gigahertz edition for $107.74 after coupon and after rebate, using this promo code and applying the rebate. That is an insane deal. It's a reference card, which normally I wouldn't be too fond of, but considering we're building in such a tiny case, having the blower design will actually be very beneficial, and it'll keep your other components pretty cool. So here it is. You have to apply that coupon from before. This is a heck of a processor. 2 gigabytes of 256-bit GDDR5, 1280 stream processors. It is incredibly fast. You get free shipping on this item. Really great card. There's the rebate. It expires on the 26th, so you do have some time to think about it. And even if that rebate goes, it's still a really good deal. Amazing card. You can take this card and overclock it just a little bit, and just a little bit of overclocking on the 7870 gigahertz edition will get you to 7950 levels easily. You will be able to exceed a 7950, and a 7950 is a much more expensive card. So you are getting into the high range of video cards for modern graphics processing for only $100. That's insane. That's, really incredible. And let's go ahead and take a look at the pass mark score on this. Here's the 7870 stock right here. It's funny to see it right next to the GTX 480, which is an amazing card, but even used, they go for about $120, $130, and they use much more power, and they run much more hot than the 7870. So, you're getting in the high end for $100. That's pretty amazing. Now let's see what else we've got going on this build. Alright. Yeah, so one of the big South Korean memory manufacturing plants had to close, I think, for upgrades. You can read about it online, and they won't be back up to full capacity within the next half year or so. So because of that, I'm sure you've all noticed while shopping around looking for budget parts to put together a cool rig like this, that memory prices, DDR3 prices in particular, are on the rise. And it doesn't just have to do with DDR4 around the corner. It is definitely a manufacturing thing. So, we've seen DDR3 at $70 plus for 8 gigs, which is pretty unacceptable considering, less than a year ago it was only $30 for 8 gigs of 1600 DDR3. But Tiger Direct has a deal that's running right now, expires on the 28th, where you have a $25 off coupon and you can get a set of 4GB DDR3 sticks, 1600 Cas 9, 1.65 volt. I mean, it is on the high side in terms of voltage, but should be fine for the particular motherboard we've chosen. And that'll get you down to $39 on this RAM. And 8 gigs is definitely what you'll need to keep up with a lot of the console ports that are going to be coming out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and being pushed over to the PC side. So, heck of a deal on that. Yeah, you can get ShopRunner if you've never used it before and get 2-day shipping. And the one thing to keep in mind with the 2 Tiger Direct parts I've picked, if you have a Visa, debit card, credit card, anything like that, they're running a $20 off $100 promo if you purchase through V.me, which is the Visa pay service similar to PayPal or Google checkout, So $20 off of this and $20 off the other processor. That's, a lot of extra money, and it goes a long way in this budget build, so definitely check that out. Amex, American Express also has a similar $20 off deal for first-time Tiger Direct customers, and they also have free shipping, which is really nice. So if you don't have a Visa, don't feel left out. There's lots of other opportunities there. Next, now, you might want to get a solid-state drive and just pay the extra $40 to get a 128GB solid-state drive on sale, but if you really need the storage, and considering this is meant to be a primary rig, I definitely recommend going with this. It's a 1TB 7200 RPM Toshiba drive, pretty reliable. With a $30 rebate on it, you can get it for $39.99, which, considering how high mechanical drives have been in price lately, that's a really great deal. I definitely recommend jumping on that. And again, that's also at Tiger Direct, so you'll be able to apply that $20 off coupon. Now, let's see what we have left as our last part. Finally, it's not really spectacular. It's a 400-watt ATX power supply with a $10 off promo and a rebate card on it that gets it down to $19.99 total after promo and rebate. 400 watts, which is 100 watts more than what you'll need to run that Haswell processor and the 7870, keeping in mind that the Haswell processor uses very little power. So this 400 watt will give you some headroom when you are overclocking the 7870, which will be nice. That'll definitely get you a little bit of extra help in those games that are GPU demanding, like Battlefield 4 with the new Frostbite engine. It's not a great power supply. I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but it's sleeved. It's Roseville, which is Newegg's distributor for OEM computer parts, so you have their warranty service and return service, which is nice. It looks decent. It has a 120mm fan on it. It's within spec. It is what it is. It has 2 PCIe power connectors, so you can use them on your video card, or rather it has the 6 and 8 pin power connectors that you can use on your video card, so it has what you need for this build. So all in all, let's take a look at the damage. Here is the price breakdown for this rig after coupon, after rebate, and after the $20 off Amex or Visa promo at Tiger Direct. Final price on this, $302.68. That is an insane deal for this kind of performance. I have not seen a rig that can support high-end games on high settings at 1080p for a price that low in a very long time. So if you're, looking for a rig and you're not sure what Black Friday is going to bring, I would definitely recommend jumping on this, especially that 7870. If you're a little wary of the other parts, at least get the 7870, because I don't think we're going to see a deal that great even on Black Friday. So definitely worth your while. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this build or suggestions, post them up in comments, or check us out at reviewstash.com. If you're interested in hanging out talking about computer hardware or Minecraft, visit our forums. Thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful.